It's a beautiful Saturday, and of course, it is 2 o'clock by our studio time check. And it's that important time when we talk on how to heal our society and make it a better place and a safer heaven here on earth. Thank you for joining us on Ripples on Salt FM at Bakaliki. Happy Independence. Of course, it's the flip side of the day, and I'm glad to be a witness to Nigeria being 65. It's wonderful. And of course, my guest is seated here in the studio with me. Mr. Godigo, you're welcome to
Thank you very much.
Salt FM. And the happy independence, sir.
Many happy returns.
How do you feel being, witnessing Nigeria at 65?
Yes, it is my pleasure and my happy as a son boy to witness it. Despite setbacks,
Okay.
despite frustration, despite lost hope, we still survive the situation and are bubbling with the life.
Okay, so we'll keep renewing
Hoping that
our
tomorrow will
hope,
be a better
hoping that
tomorrow.
tomorrow will be a better place. And then let's bring it home to a boring state. How, at 29, are we doing well, or what can you say? Can you appraise our efforts so far at 29? Just in a sentence.
Well, I would say that we are progressing
Oh,
rather than
God.
retrogressing.
Yeah. Okay, we are doing better. All right. And I want to welcome you specially again to Salt FM Abakaliki. Of course, my guest, Mr. Godigwe, is already seated here. Let me begin by saying that family is the most important thing. Someone said that family is not the most important thing, rather, it is everything. So when you talk about family, you talk about a safe haven, you talk about a safe place, where you go to and you feel secured, irrespective of all the happenings around. When you go out, you meet all the noise, you listen to everything, the fightings, the battles. Then the family ought to be a place where you go back to and you are safe. Do you agree with that, Mr. Agri?
I completely agree with
You
you.
completely agree with me. Okay, today we are looking at the impact of building, how building a strong family relationship impacts a child. And of course, Mr. Igo in the studio is a child father. Well, he is a retired director child departments in the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development here in Ebonyi State. And each time we talk about children, he wants to, he it triggers him to always do the best, his best possible for the kids and for the children of the state. And that is why we are talking about today the impact, how building a strong family relationship impacts a child. What impact, what benefit does it give to a child to grow up in that family where love is shared abroad? But before we get to that point, we want to know, when we talk about healthy family, when we talk about healthy family relationship, Mr. Igwe, what do we mean?
A healthy family is a family that is harmonious, is functional, and everybody, that a family that is fair and just. Treatment is given to anybody, everybody rather, irrespective of probably circumstance of birth, irrespective the mood the mother or the father finds him or herself, that the issue of children is given paramount consideration. The issue of children is put first before every other thing. In other words, if there is no food, for father and the mother, they would go extra mile to see that the food is provided for the child, that the child is given all that is required for his or her survival, ranging from child the time the child is born, ensuring that all the immunization required for prevention of common child diseases are given at that correct time, that this child is given opportunity to actualize his or her potentials either in the school or trade, that that child is allowed to participate actively in affairs that affect him or her in their life, so that the child is not relegated to the background. The child is listened to when the need arises. The child is not discriminated against. The child is given protected from the vagaries of crime in our community, our society. That child is given paramount content, the forefront of every other thing, and the protection reigns supreme. Provision, protection, and provision reigns supreme in the issue of child protection.
All right, so having heard about healthy family, or then let's look at building a healthy relationship, because when you talk about relationships, some people may not really understand that there is need for you to intentionally build a healthy relationship. They feel because we are born into this family, we are just family, and everything should just work like that, you know. So when we talk about how do we intentionally build a healthy relationship in a family?
Well, it starts from the time a child is born, rather. When a child is given birth to, the Almighty God made it mandatory and obligatory that that child be given mother's breast milk. When a mother gives a baby a breast milk, that in the first stand, that creating an emotional and a physical attachment and a bond. That's where it starts. So when you now take the care of the child from that moment, and then caters for the child's need within the limit of your resources, not say what you do today, say postpone it till tomorrow. So giving the child all the necessary paraphernalia, all the necessary tools that will enable him or her to grow and grow as a healthy person and grow as a person that is creative, giving the opportunity to develop his or her creative potentials, to have think of independent being, how such a child can become a self-reliant and responsible person in the society. It starts from birth. And this is a role that is a team role, because in family there is nothing like optimal division of labor. The duty or the duties of the father and the mother, they are interlocked, they are interwoven, they are interdependent. One person cannot do it alone, except when it becomes circumstance beyond control, probably a single parent home, or when death has caused broken of the family. Under normal circumstances, it will be a teamwork. So with that teamwork, each person contributing in the care of the child, in the nurturing of the child, in the protection of the child, and the provision of the child, and giving the child the most needed thing, time. When you don't give a child time, any other thing you're doing has little or no meaning. And when you don't set a good example for a child, you are doing more harm than him or her than good. So these are the ingredients, the indices of what makes a child to grow into become a healthy person in the family and of course in the society.
All right, and of course, you're on to Salt FM Abakaliki, and today we are looking at the impact of growing or raising a child in a family with a strong and healthy relationship. So, we want to look at how the child benefits from a strong relationship in the family. And so far in the studio with me is Mr. Godibe, who has been giving answers to some of the questions that arise in our minds. All right, so let's even look at the place of communication when we talk about family. What role does communication play in ensuring that our family builds a strong relationship?
Now, in issue of communication, in any relationship, where communication is stopped or eliminated, the relationship is bound to die. So when communication in the family gives the child opportunity to ask questions when he's perplexed, it gives the question position to the child to give complaint, it gives the child to make suggestion. For example, if there is no communication, a child may have sickness and the food not like telling the father or mother because they don't communicate. At times the child is snubbed, at times the child is whatever he says is regarded as childish, and that the child is treated as object. Why should we say something depending him or her? Why should we say he has not clawed his tongue? That it is the duty of the parent to know when to do all this. So when the child is communication gives the child a full sense of belonging. It gives the child a full sense of belonging. It makes the atmosphere very cordial. It creates a rapport that makes the child to see the father and the mother as people that rely on and they to confide in them. But when the communication is not there, you discover that the child will be scared from telling the parent. It depends on outsiders. It depends on people who may mislead him or her. So communication is indispensable. That this is the avenue or the opportunity through which the child can communicate with the father and mother what he wants, what he needs, what is worrying him, what he doesn't want, and what he expects from them. You can't when all the room for these things are closed or blocked. you discover that that family is not a true family in the sense of a family which is supposed to be, which should be the bedrock of society.
Okay, let's consider the factors that hinders building a strong relationship in our today's world.
A number of factors, some man-made. To start with, many mothers don't give their children breast milk. They even forget, I'm starting with the mother because the first person that in the line of child care is the mother. Because when the baby was in the womb as a fetus, he carried the pregnancy successfully, did the antenatal to ensure her own survival and survival of the baby. She also did the intrapartum care and also did the postnatal care. All these things are aimed primarily to save the life of the baby. Now, when the baby is born, the next thing is that emotional attachment, the bond. When the mother is feeding the baby with the milk, the benefits are overwhelming. So mothers forget that when you feed the baby with a breast milk, the chances the uterus will return to normal size without any drug or any other thing. That is one. That it helps to prevent uterus disorder and breast cancer. And then the child start recognizing the mother, the voice, the face, facial appearance. Remember we say mother's tongue. But when you give breast milk bottle, I don't know how the baby can acquire the mother's tongue through the feeding bottle. When the baby that cannot see the face, I know when he smiles, learning that smiling shows you are happy. The baby is smiling, the mother smiles back. The baby is crying, the mother says, "What are you crying?" Try to, pacify the baby. So that's where it starts. Now, when they grow up, when the parents have no time for their children and think that all they need to do is to provide the most expensive wear, clothes, shoes, and other things, earrings, and the like, they are making a costly mistake. Because the issue of communication, the issue of interaction with the parent is supposed to be something that is constant, something that is regular, something that cannot be compromised. But what do we see today? Parents have no time for their children. They have time for other things, namely, in the first place, to make money, which we shall look at the consequence of making money at the forgetting the children or neglecting them.
Okay, so it's okay. Let's basically say that the issue of money has actually taken away parents.
Of course, yes.
In that parents from building that strong relationship
Yes.
that the child requires. All right, so how can we build this family relationship?
Okay.
How can we build it?
When you go into issue of family, child upbringing, we have stages of building the relationship, of building the relation in the best interest of the baby or the child. We have the first stage we call age of regulation, age of making rule, age 1 to 7. This is the age the child wants to hear that he shouldn't go to fire. He shouldn't drink acid or drink anything in the liquid in the house without the parents knowing. He shouldn't play on the road. He shouldn't touch certain electrical appliances in the house. The age of rule, don't do this, it is harmful. Don't go out. It's raining, come in, you may catch cold. You don't go in the sun, you may have sun bath. So this age of regulation starts from age 1 to 7. And that is why this age is usually the time the child is closer with the mother than the father. Because ab initio, it is the duty. Of course, mother and wife, husband and wife, they contribute in child of building. But the issue of care, nurture, lies squarely on the mother. Because when the baby is born, between age 1 and 7, most of the time the child is with the mother until he starts going to school. Even if he's going to a nursery school, you discover that before 12 o'clock or thereabout, he's back. It's expected that when they come back, the mother must have prepared food. The mother must have found out whether the child has fever, whether the child caught cold, whether there's anything worrying the child, any problem in the school, what type of food you want to do. And they taking the child to hospital if you need to be. But the situation you see that you have absentee mothers. And then the children are left at the tender mercies of child minders and babysitters. The child that's the beginning of the neglect. Now the issue of father, a good number of fathers think that their duty is just to provide money for food. They have no time for their children. Many parents, many fathers, they have no money. They forgot, time for the children. They forgot their principal roles revolve around the following areas: protection and provision. Protection and provision of food and other necessaries. Fathers are expected to make rules and enforce the rules. Fathers are expected to be responsible and fair authority. Fathers are expected to be role model. But when they fail to do this, the child becomes handicapped. The child becomes defective. Now, when you finish that age, omission of that part of the child mother relationship, parent child relationship, creates a vacuum. Now, when the vacuum is created, the child doesn't know what he's doing something wrong or bad, because nobody has told him or her that this is what he should do. Even among the lower animals, example, fowl. When a fowl is moving about with the chicken or the chick, and he notices danger, he raises what they call signal alarm or danger alarm for them to hide. For example, kite or snake, the kite does not hatch and they abandon them. But among the human being who are the primate, the superior being, they abandon their babies to people who have no knowledge of what it takes to care for a baby. I had a case when I was in the ministry of some babysitter strangling a child of 2 weeks old. He put rope on her neck and they drew it and they strangled the baby and the child. He died. So if the mother is supposed to leave a baby of 2 weeks with a babysitter, a babysitter of about 9 years. So have you seen how the neglect, the extent of the neglect? I have seen cases of babies who drank kerosene because their mother abandoned them. They are crawling, toddlers. They drink kerosene. They take drugs not prescribed for them, because this issue of don't do this, do that, stop this, don't go this way, they are dangerous, they are neglected. And so this way there is a vacuum. Nature does not allow room for vacuum. When there is a vacuum, something will close that vacuum, and then that thing they feel it may be good or evil. That is that stage of regulation. Now we have another stage of imitation. When a child is between 8 and 12 years, children imitate their parents. The way the parents talk, the way the parents behave, they look up to their parents. For example, so one expert has it that if parents give instruction, very good instruction to a child, and then sets bad example for that child, is equivalent to giving a child food in one hand and giving him poison on the other hand. So when parents have nothing to copy from their parents, probably nothing of negativity, you see a vacuum is created. That's how the problems are. At the age of imitation, they are looking at you. The way you plait your hair. Your daughter of 8 years, 11, will try plaiting it with other children. The way you talk, try to mimic you. The way you dress, the way you laugh, or the way you eat food, is watching you, is imitating. And then when imitating negative things from parents, it will be difficult to counter in later part. For example, when a father is profane or hot-headed, experience has shown that such fathers pass to their son the attributes which they have. And when a mother is vulgar tongued, when a mother is vulgar tongued, you discover that, and immodest, that it passes to the daughter sassy and immoral behavior. So this stage of copying, parents still to be on the lookout. That whatever you do, in the field of communication, body language speaks louder than voice. When you're teaching a child, you see them mimicking. When you they start mimicking you from that age of 8 to 12. So parents have a duty, they have responsibilities to ensure that what they display before the children is not something that affects them negatively, to see that the way they talk, they advise to them, they react to them, the children. For example, if a child grows with criticism, the child will grow up to be condemning every other person, because condemnation is the stock in trade in the family. If a child lives in a home that people are hostile, husband and wife, they are hostile to each other, such a child grows to be violent in the school and wherever he goes. If a child grows in a place, a family where he's made to be shy, you see that this child feels sense of good almost all the time. So we discover that all these things they learn from the family, they see in the family, they display them. And this is acquired between age 8 and 12 years before they enter secondary school. Now, another stage is age of inspiration stroke assertion. At age 13 and above, you see they are come of age of asking you, why do you say I should do this? I want to dress this way. Mom, you say I shouldn't dress. Do you have time to tell her why you shouldn't dress that way? You want to go out in the late in the evening. Maybe some other friends, peer groups are going out. Do you have time to tell her why you don't want her to go? Yeah. The dangers inherent of this. So these stages, they have roles, they have duties parents supposed to play. And when they fail to play this role, as I said earlier, nature does not allow room for vacuum. Some other negative influences will fill a vacuum.
Okay, right. You are still on to Salt FM Abakaliki, and today we are looking at building a strong family relationship and how it impacts on a child. And of course, you know that this program is audience participatory. At the right time, we'll open the phone line for you to call in and make your contribution or ask questions when necessary. And in the studio with me is Mr. Godi Igwe, and so far we have been trying to look into what we have today critically. All right, sir. So now let's look at the impact. How does this building a strong family relationship impact a child?
Well,
how does a child benefit from this?
Yes, if a child has been given rules of obeying elders, obeying her seniors, obeying the mother and father, and doing his or her younger, elder siblings, that the child comes to realize that those in authority will be obeyed. If a child is seeing the parents worshiping God, bowing before his creator, you should understand that people who are in authority, just like God is a final authority, that is required and is necessary to do that. But it all depends on what you put in is what you get out. So when these children have not been told that you don't call elders, you don't insult elders, you see the child of 5, 7 years insulting a grandmother, insulting an adult, because nobody had taught him or her that this is not to be done, that is wrong. So it is whatever you give to these children that eventually they will come out with and then display it in the society. So also the people that imitate. For example, the mother that goes nude about, you don't stop the child from going in exhibitionism, because I think that's the way people want women to behave. So that is it. So also in the case of male child, a father, when a father is a drunk, and then when he comes, he starts beating the wife or insulting the wife under the influence of alcohol. The male child will imitate. I'll see, yes, this is how women are treated. So I'll treat with his siblings, the younger ones. When the father is out, he will start doing exactly that thing he sees the father doing to the mother, to the siblings, the younger siblings. Yeah. So what it affects the society, what you are giving to these children is all they come out. I would say the bedrock. The root of our society's problems today is the family's abandonment of their God-given responsibilities.
When we started, we told you that family is not the most important thing according to the wise one. Rather, family is everything. Family is everything you can think of. And so family is supposed to be a safe place, a safe haven for everyone. And of course, we cannot have a safe place. Our family can't be a safe place or a safe haven if we don't have a strong family relationship. And that is what we are talking about today, and how that strong relationship in our families impacts the life of a child. Of course, we know that family, they said, is the smallest unit of the society. And once the family is right, the society will definitely be right. So welcome back to Ripples on Salt FM Abakaliki. My name is Loveth Onyebuchi, and in the studio with me is Mr. Godi Igwe. Mr. Godi Igwe is a retired director in the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development in the Boy State. And then so far, Mr. Igwe, thank you for still staying here. All right, thank you, dear listener, for still staying on Salt 98.1 FM. Mr. Igwe, so let's look at the impact. We are looking at the impact of having a good and a strong family relationship and how it impacts a child.
Well, in the first place, look at it socially. When a child comes from a family that is the mother and the father relate, the parents relate very well, they live peacefully, they live harmoniously, and then they hardly get a case of cantankerous or a case of fighting, thereby injuring them. As I said earlier, this child will learn to be friendly with the people, he will be sociable in the school, in the church he has friends, he relate with other children very amicably because he had been brought up to love. You are brought up to relate with the people amicably and peacefully. Now, another one is the issue of emotional. When a child has emotional balance, it will enable the child to concentrate in his or her studies or whatever he's doing. Because if a child is not emotionally stable, even in school he cannot concentrate. Even at home he cannot do his or her assignment efficiently and effectively. Now, psychologically, the behavior a child displays outside is a microcosm of what is happening in the family. So if a family is at peace, there is a rapport, there is a love there is bond, emotional bond between the father, mother, and the children. You see the children displayed. It's a reflection. It reflects back. It is a sort of in physics you say reflection of light. Light gains to something and goes back. So the child will be displaying those good qualities psychologically, emotionally, socially, and otherwise. So behavior in the school will be cordial. It will be a talk of the neighborhood. It will be a talk of the school. Because what good things are acquired from home is what it displays outside. These are the benefits. It makes the child to grow up and achieve his or her potential. Because some children abandon their potential, something that could have been of help for them, not only now but in future, because the family is not conducive. But when the family is a heaven and is conducive, the child will be doing very well in the school. It's reflected in the school, it's reflected in any trade the child is involved. It's reflected on the way you see an adult on the road. Because a child that is harboring aggression, the child that feels injured, neglected, may not even feel like greeting an adult. He sees an adult as another source of power, a power that has done more harm than good. But when the family has done what the parents have done what they're supposed to do, it reflects actually the true picture of the family in a positive way.
All right, this is the most you can take on this program today for some circumstances beyond my control at this point. But before we go, Mr. Igwe, please, what can you tell parents?
What
What can you advise parents to do in this regard?
my advice to parents is that they better share their sword, husband and wife. The moment they have children, they start getting children, they should try strive as much as money possible to demonstrate, to teach, to behave in a way that will not be inimical to the progress of the child, will not affect the child psychologically, negatively, emotionally negatively, and socially negatively. Because the way the child is brought could result in the child becoming a miscreant, result the child being a superstar in his or her area choosing profession. Because if the child gets from home is what affects him or her in the school or wherever he finds himself. So they should work together. They should work as a team. In any team that they do, but of course there must be captain. But the captain should not be using power arbitrarily, and that captain is the father. The father is the captain. Just like a president, we should not use the power arbitrarily. But when you do that, you discover that nobody will give a true allegiance, unflinching support. It will be sabotaged. So my advice to father is that mother that should respect the authority of father as the commander in chief, the chief executive officer. But the chief executive officer should not be tyrannical. He should not be despotic. He should not be ruling without he should have a listening ear. He should work together with the wife. He should always ask questions when he is confused. Otherwise, it will do more harm. He will do more harm than good to the family. Not only the child, but the family. Because if the children are not cared for very well, they are not protected, they are not given the necessary moral, psychological, emotional, and social support at the appropriate age, they will grow up to become miscreants, they become a source of sorrow to the family, they become disappointment, they become failure, and both parents will regret it. So we pray that such will not happen in any family.
All right, thank you very much. Like I said earlier, I apologize. This is where we have to draw the curtain on the program today. For some reasons beyond my control at this point, thank you for joining us on Repost today. Next week, Saturday, will come stronger. Thank you and have a beautiful weekend. Thank you, Mr. Igwe, for coming on the
Thank
program.
you.